This is great. Now you have your record audio function executing every time the user presses the record audio button. This is an example of going from user interface element, in this case the record button, to your code using an IB action. What about going the other way? From code to user interface element. Maybe we want to enable or disable a button, or we want to change the text of a label. When you go from code to UI element, you use a connection called an IB outlet, otherwise known as an outlet from code to UI element. Let's add one of those in. To start with, let's open back the Inspectors panel by clicking this button here on the top right. Make sure the library is selected here on the right. In addition, for a moment, I'm going to come out of the Assistant Editor just to give me more screen real estate. There we go. Now I can see my interface. I'm going to drag over a label and a button. To start with, I'm going to search for label. Found one. I'm going to drag one here. And I'm going to name this label tap to record. And I'm going to reposition it back in the middle. And then I'm going to search for a button. I'm going to drag another button on here. Try to center it as best as I can in the center of the screen. Double click inside and type in stop recording for the button's text. Don't worry about the layout yet. We're going to tackle that in just a bit. Now pay attention because here comes the unintuitive part. We want to make a connection from code to UI element, in this case, the tap to record label. From the document outline, find our tap to record label, as you can see highlight here, hold down the control key, and drag it into our view controller class. Select outlet and name this recording label. You can now see Xcode's created an outlet for us, linking the UI element into code, or as we're going to use it, an outlet from code where we can change the UI element. Let's use this IB outlet. Let's make the text change after the record button has been pressed. So what we want here is we want the text of the recording label to change when the record button is pressed. You already know which code gets called when the recording button is pressed. That's the function we wrote earlier as an IB action, right here. We can add the following line to the record audio function. If you run the app now and press on the record audio button, you should be able to see the text change to recording in progress. We can see that our label and button are not positioned correctly. That's okay. If we press this button, we should see this change from tap to record into recording in progress. So we've used an IB action to receive an interaction, even on a button, and then we use an IB outlet to reach back from code to UI element, in this case the label, and change this text.